Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a dramatic makeup look on my lovely client here. And first we're just going in with the witch hazel just to clean off the client's face. And then you'll see me go in with the Pond's Dry Cream Moisturizer. And I'm using a silicone makeup sponge just to get that moisturizer into my client's skin. And we're going to start off with our brows today. And I'm using the Benefit brow pencil, and it's in the number 4, and I'm just going to use that to draw her brows on, and I'll be using the spoolie on the other end just to get the brow hairs going the way that I want, in the direction that I want them to go. And now you'll see me going in with my MAC 252 brush, and the type of concealer that I'm using today is the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and I'm using the shades Maple and Golden Beige. And you'll see me go in and carve the brows out at the top as well as the bottom. And it's a little hard recording for you all and also trying to get my brows straightened. So I did the best I could and tried not to be in the camera so much so you all can see. But if I happen to be in the camera at any point in the video, I do apologize. I tried to stay out of the camera as much as I could, and don't be talking about me today because I am definitely looking bummy. I look way different when I'm working, but yeah. And the brush that you see me using here to blend out the concealer is the Morphe 504 brush. And I'm just using that to just kind of blend out the concealer to my liking and to help with the ombre effect to the front of the brows as well. And then after I use that brush, I go in with my Shop Miss A sponge, and I just go in and try to clean up that concealer a little more and get it a little more smoother. And now we're going in with our Varsity palette by Kiki Adams, and I'm using the colors Xtracurricular, Alma, Schoolboy, Sophomore, PTA, and Scout. And I will put in the description box the colors and the order that I use the colors in, as well as each brush that I use for each color. But first we're going in and using the M441 brush for Xtracurricular and Alma. I just use the same 441 brush for them both. I just start with the lighter color first, and then I go in with the darker color. But it is a good idea to have two separate brushes, because when you do the other eye, you may want to have another brush just in case you don't know how to dip back into the colors to have the light color first, if I'm making sense. But right now you see me going in that Schoolboy shade with my M505 brush, and I'm just tapping that over the lid. And since this concealer was a wet base, I just go in with tapping motions first. And then once I cover the eye with the eyeshadow, then I will go in and do like slight swiping motions. And now I'm going in with my M433 brush and adding that Sophomore shade onto her lid. And then you'll see me go in with my M503 brush and just throwing in that PTA shade, and I'm doing that more of on the outside of the lid, and just so it can go into like an ombre effect going closer to the inside of the lid. I hope I'm making sense. And these are all still the same shades. You'll just see me going back and forth between each brush and each shade, just putting that color back in if I happen to slightly remove any one of the colors as I'm going along with these steps. I just go back in and put more of the color back. Okay, now I'm just going in to cut her crease, and I'm using the Helen E primer and my MAC 242S brush. And I'm doing like a small little cut crease like towards the middle, because we're going to bring those two outer shades into this cut crease. You will see exactly what I mean in just a little bit, but it's just going to be like a little small cut crease. And now I'm just going in with my random BH Cosmetic brush here. It's just kind of like a flat brush, just blending that Helen E primer before I apply the same shades. I'm going in with the Schoolboy first, and I'm just patting that shade on each side of where I cut the crease, just to bring those shades in a little more. And you'll also see me go in with the remainder shades, and I'll bring those in a little more as well before I apply the shade that I'm going to use on top of the Helen E primer. And I'm just going in with a flat Morphe brush. It doesn't have a name on there, just Morphe, but you can use any flat brush to do this step. But this is what I'm using to add the shade over the Helen E primer, which is Scout. And then I'm just going in with my Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive, and it's in clear. And I'm just applying that to her lash line to get it all ready and prepped for her lashes. But first, before we apply the lashes, I like to go in with a little mascara, and this is the Lash Paradise waterproof mascara in Blackest Black. And I'm just going to go back over that cut crease there with that Scout shade in the Varsity palette, just to clean it up a little more. And then we'll go in and add her lashes. Next, I'm going in with the Sephora Precision eyeliner, and this is in the shade Black. And I'm just putting that on her line, where her lash line, just to give it a little pop. And then I'll go over this to kind of set that liner in place. I'll go over it with a black shade, and I'm using a black shade from the Juvias Place Warrior 2 palette, and that's just to set that liner in place. And now you'll see me go in with the Kiss lash glue, and it's just the same glue that I use to put on her lashes. And I'm just drawing a line here to get it prepped and ready for that white liner that I'm going to put on, and it just keeps the liner from cracking. I find that when you do like a line of lash glue first before adding the liner, it just helps that white liner stay in place, or whatever color liner that you're using, it'll help that liner stay in place better. And I'm just going in and brightening up some colors and cleaning up this eye, and then I'll do the other eye off camera and I'll come right back. Okay, so now we're doing her white liner on this side, and like I said, I'm just using the lash glue first, and then we're drawing on the white liner. Right, and you'll see me just adding a little of that Pond's Dry Cream Moisturizer and just using that to get some of the fallout from under her eye before we go in and do the foundation. And this is a Neutrogena makeup wipe that I'm using just to get the remainder of the fallout from under her eye. Now I'm going in with my Dermablend Instagrip Jelly Primer, and I'm just using that as a primer today. This is one of my favorites. It works really well. And I'm just going in with my silicone applicator again and just making sure I get that all over her face. And I'm just using a random Wet n Wild concealer brush that I got from Walmart to apply the foundation, and you can use any brush that you like to apply the foundation, but I always like to use the Instapop cheek brush by Real Techniques to blend out the foundation. We are now going in with the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and the shades we'll be using today are Maple, Golden Beige, and a small amount of Cookie into the corner of her eye. And to blend it out, we'll be using the Real Techniques setting brush. And just to clean up that concealer a little more, I'm just going in with my Shop Miss A beauty sponge and just pressing that concealer in just a little more. She's so funny. And before I add my setting powder, I like to go in with my setting brush and just use a little of the Fit Me pressed powder and just press that into her under eye. And I then go back in and use my setting powders, and the powders that I'm using today are the Huda Beauty, and that's in the banana bread, and the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, and I mix those together. And for my contour shade, I'm using the Black Opal foundation stick, and I'm also using the Juvias Place foundation stick, and that's in a darker shade, and I usually use that closer to her ears. And I just blend that out with one of my Instapop cheek brushes, and this is a clean brush. that I'm blending out the contour shade with. You'll always want to keep your Instapop cheap brush that you blended out your foundation with separate from the one that you're blending out your contour shade with, because you're going to use the one that you blended out your foundation with later on in the process. And to blend out that nose contour, I'm just taking my Expert Concealer Brush by Real Techniques, and I'm just going in swiping motions as well as patting motions just to blend out that nose contour. And I'm just going in and defining her nose a little more just by adding a little more of the setting powder mixture on the bridge of her nose, and then I'll just go in and add a little more of the contour shade on the side just to chisel up the nose a little bit. And I'm just taking my setting brush and I'm just brushing away that powder, as well as doing like a brush away and a press in type of motion to get that extra powder from under her eye and everywhere that I concealed. And now I'm going in with my Morphe Glamour Bronze Bronzer in the shade Trailblazer, and I'm just adding that everywhere that I put a contour shade or put the contour shade. And now I'm just going in with my Morphe setting mist and just putting some moisture back into her face after all those steps with the powders. And to dry that, I'm using my little portable fan that I got from Amazon, and I'm going to use the foundation brush that we originally used to apply the foundation, and I'm just going to press all of those products into her skin just to get rid of any harsh lines that we may have. And now we're just going in with our little setting powder mixture that we made, and I'm just going to carve out under her cheeks. And this is another Shop Miss A Beauty Sponge. And I'm just going back into my Glamour Bronze Bronzer and just setting that contour shade just a little more. Now I'm taking my Real Techniques setting brush and just brushing off that powder from her cheeks and just redefining that contour, and as well as going back in and pressing in that powder. Now I'm just going to take my Real Techniques blush brush and my BH Cosmetics Bellini blush palette, and I'm using the shades Peach Please and Life's a Peach for our blush, and I'm just putting that on the tip of her nose and her cheeks. Then I'm taking the NYX Milk Jumbo Eye Pencil and just putting that into her waterline. And next you'll see me go into the Juvias Place Warrior 2 palette, and I'm just using that black shade to put like right under her waterline, but not directly in it. And I always like to go in with a darker shade and then I layer on my lighter shade. And the lighter shade I'm using today is that sophomore shade from the Varsity palette. And this step is optional. I just went in to define her moles. She has really beautiful moles, so I just went in to define those, but like I said, that step is optional. And I'm just gonna go in with a little more setting powder just to sweep away any color that may have fell out when we did her shadow under eye. And we're just gonna go press that in.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lexi.
I'm leaving it in there.
She's gonna mute the rest of the video, but you might hear me say this one time too many. My name's Lexi.
And now we're going in with our ColourPop Lippy Pencil in the shade BFF3, and I'm just going to use that to line her lips. And now we're going in with our MAC Matte lipstick in the shade Honey Love for the inner portion of her lips, just to give that cute ombre effect. And I'm just going in with the flat brush just to clean up the bottom portion of her lip. And then you'll see me go in with my Broadway lip gloss, and we're just gonna apply that on the top and the bottom of her lips. And now I'm going in and applying my highlighter, the Master Chrome highlighter in Molten Gold, and I'm using the brush that I originally applied the blush with, and I'm using the Estee Lauder Set and Refresh Makeup Mist to set everything in place, and my little handy dandy fan, and just putting some finished touches in place. But this is the final look, and I can definitely say that this look did turn out really good. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and it actually matches her hair, so I think that's really cute. And my fan decided to give out on me, so we went old school, but as soon as I pulled that one out, the electric fan started back working. So yeah. But anywho, I appreciate you all for watching this video. Thank you all so much for your support. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Any questions you may have, feel free to ask. Thank you. Bye now.